हरे कृष्णा। मैं नवनीत व्यासा एस्ट्रो चैनल में आप लोगों का बहुत बहुत स्वागत करता हूं। एंड टुडे वी हैव बाबाजीत फ्रॉम exotic astrology, one of the most spiritually enlightened souls, working around planets and constellations, who needs no introduction. And we are so delighted to have you here, Babajeet. Hare Krishna, welcome to our channel, sir.
Very good to talk to you, sir. And this is the first time we are meeting. And yeah, as we were having this conversation before we started the recording, I was really amazed by the things that we discussed about your gurus and the tradition that you come from. And yeah, I'm looking forward for our discussion today.
Yeah, Prabhuji, and what have you brought from your divine intelligence for us today on our channel?
I just try to share whatever I had learned from my gurus and teachers by grace of God. So today I was thinking to discuss on this topic about destiny and free will and karma and from a horoscope perspective.
Right.
And the viewers of this channel, or as we discussed, we'll upload this in my channel also.
Yes.
So viewers from both the channels can give feedback
Yes.
in the comments that if they really like this video and the concepts, then the next video I can also record again
Yeah.
with some examples, with like 4 or 5 example charts.
Yeah.
So the thing is, we are aware of these two terms. First one is destiny, and then we have the other one is free will.
Yes.
And then there is a word called karma. There is a word called bhagya. These are all very confusing sometimes.
Absolutely.
Especially these three words. One is destiny, the other one is karma, the other one is bhagya.
Yeah.
And then there is prarabdha. People think, oh, these things means, something is destined and it's all done. I can't do anything.
Yes.
But actually, it's not like that.
Yeah.
We have to draw fine lines between these words. So for example, if you talk of karma, the word karma as in astrology, it refers to our 10th house primarily.
Right.
But people, they think that karma is only referring to 10th house.
Right.
That's actually not the case. The karma of the 10th house represents that type of karma which impacts not only me, but impacts everybody else around the world.
Yeah. So
So
true.
because that's the house of name and fame. So when you get name and fame, what happens? Whenever you say something, 10 people or maybe 1,000 people, they will listen, right? So
Right.
I have a power by using my karma, my speech or my actions to impact somebody's life, either in a positive or in a negative way.
Yeah.
So in that sense, it is called the house of karma. But every house in Jyotish is the house of karma, actually.
Absolutely.
It's not only the 10th house. Now, the first house is representing the karma that we have with ourselves in the sense this with this body.
Yeah.
And that is why many times people they tell me that, oh sir, I feel life is not worth living. I want to go and give up my life.
Yeah.
Well, I tell them this is very sinful according to the scriptures. You cannot just go and end your life. Why?
Yeah.
Because then you are spoiling the karma that you have with this body.
Correct.
You may say that, oh, but this body is mine, right? I can do whatever I wish with this body.
Right.
So why am I accountable?
Yeah.
Why am I accountable for my own body? I can cut my finger, I can do whatever I want, right? Why should I be accountable? Well, that's the problem, you see, because the Vedic scriptures, they tell us that this body is not ours.
Right.
We are temporarily occupying this body. We are the caretakers of this body. And when I say we, I mean to say the soul. The soul is residing in this body temporarily. And therefore, the soul's responsibility is to take care of the body.
Right.
Body and the first house also represents our thought process, intelligence, all these things.
Yes.
So if we are learning bad things, we are spoiling which house? People say, oh, we are spoiling the fifth house, ninth house, but primarily we are spoiling the first house because it's the head, right?
That is it.
So therefore, it's very important that we have a good karma. Then we have the second house is the karma with the family and anybody who you feel like a family. It's not only your parents or your birth family. It can also be your in-laws, your relatives, anybody and everybody.
Right.
Very close friends who you feel like a family. They are also the second house.
Second house, yeah.
Yeah. So we know all the house. So
And I think
really,
if I can add a little bit here,
yeah,
is that every house has a 10th house from itself.
correct, correct.
Right. So if we consider that the 10th house is house of karma for the Lagna, then
Yeah,
probably we'll have 11th house, which is society, with the second
yes,
house. That's the karma
correct.
of the second house.
Excellent. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the thing. Every house has a karma and every house has a 10th house from itself, as you very
Yeah.
beautifully explained. So the thing is, we have to understand what is the meaning of the word karma. So karma has many meanings. One meaning in India, people say, mera karma kharab hai. Or if somebody goes to a Jyotish, they say, mere to karam kharab hai. What that person basically means
Yeah.
is, I mean, irrespective of the fact his or her karma is good or bad, but what do people mean when they say my karma is not good? Maybe in case of marriage or
Yeah.
career or health. Sometimes people say
Yeah.
my karma is bad in this area. Okay,
Yeah.
which means regarding that aspect of life in the past, in either in this life or maybe in their previous lifetimes,
Yeah.
they have made such decisions which have not worked, which were not supposed to be made for a long-term success, which
Right.
is, or it could have happened that they had taken shortcuts,
Right.
and
Right.
by that they had earned a lot of money,
Yeah.
and now in this life they are facing the repercussions, and their money is just going for no
Yeah.
reason. Sometimes
Yeah.
they can't identify. Like sometimes people tell me during consultations that, sir, I can't earn, I don't have money basically.
Yeah.
So then I ask them, all right, where's the problem? Are you not able to earn money or are you not able to save money?
That is so true.
Because it's not how much you earn, it's how much you save ultimately, right?
Absolutely.
So, and then people tell me, yeah, sir, my earning is okay. I earn good, decent. But the problem is I can't
And
save.
save.
Due to
Yeah.
some reason or the other, the money is just going, or my resources, my time, my energy is just going.
Right.
So very less. I've seen very less people complaining about not being able to earn money, but
Right.
most of the complaints are, I have a lot of earnings, but I have EMIs, I have loans, I have so many things, mortgages, and it's all gone, done and dusted.
Right.
So, so basically, when somebody says that my karma is bad in this area, it means that they did something wrong and now they are getting the same reaction. So, in that sense, they mean to say that my actions were bad, now I'm getting the negative reaction. Or sometimes
Right.
people also say, by God's grace, my karma is good in this area, which means they might have done good things, or in case of finances, maybe they would have given so much in charity,
Yeah.
and now they are relatively easily getting money or
Yeah.
financial security than compared to somebody else. Okay,
Right.
and karma in another sense also means our current actions,
Right.
because either you go to the past or present or future, ultimately it's all about actions.
Right.
We tend to talk of karma in a very interchangeable way. Sometimes we say karma, we mean the past, we mean the present, or sometimes when people are about to have their child born, then they say, then they ask us as astrologers, sir, what will be the karma of my child?
Right.
That means they are talking of future. So the word karma is used interchangeably. And then we have something known as destiny. And destiny and prarabdha, these are very similar.
Yeah.
Destiny means the repercussions of our good or bad karma, which will come in this life or in some other life, or which has already come in some other lifetimes also,
Right.
which is something which is beyond our control, which means that we cannot change it. Okay.
Right. Right.
So, and then we have free will. Free will, what is free will? Free will means you have a particular destiny. So you had performed a particular karma in a past life. And then because of that, now your karma shapes your destiny. Okay.
Right. Right.
Now then that destiny is coming to you. It's like a gift which you get.
Yes. Yes.
It's like a surprise gift. Somebody knocks your door, ting tong, and you're
Yes.
like, oh,
Okay.
who's that? रात के 12 बजे किसने door knock किया? And then you go and open and you see, my God, it's like a check worth, maybe 1,000 lakhs of rupees, or maybe it's a bill of 1,000 rupees. For some reason, I don't
Right.
understand. Anyways,
Right.
but now when you have received your destiny, when you have received your destiny
Right.
in the present, what do you do now?
You'll have to
What
sit
is
at
the what is the next karma that you perform? When
right.
the reactions of your past karma comes. That is exactly what is free will. Now, what people think free will is in today's modern Kali Yuga, people think that free will is the competitor of destiny because by free will, they can break their destiny, they can
No.
control their destiny, they can change their destiny, right? That is why you will always get this question all the time, which is more powerful, free will or destiny? And
Right.
most of the speakers in YouTube, because to sound good, they say, "Oh yes, you can do
Do
everything with
it.
your life.
Yeah.
You can just break your destiny and go, and destiny doesn't matter."
But you know what? I think if we had that much amount of free will, I think the astrology would not exist. Right. See, just as taking forward your example, which is a superb example, is that you got to check off like 1,000 crores. Okay, this is the good karma that you've done. Now, as a guru, as a mentor, if you find a guru, which is in your destiny again, right, he will tell you how to react to those 1,000 crores,
Exactly.
right? So that is the only free will that we've got,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
Not more than that, not less than that, right?
Yes.
So I believe karma is, I've read in one of the lectures, my guruji's explained is that karma is kar, which is to do, and ma is coming from moon. Okay, so that is why you're always born in the nakshatra of moon, right? So that you can perform the reactions mentally, and we've got physical body to give those reactions mentally. That is the karma. Right.
Exactly. Exactly.
Right. Yeah. And then if you think that you can do a lot of things with your hard work and this and that, probably I don't believe in that. I used to believe in that 15 years ago. Right. But at this stage, I don't believe in that. What I believe is even the hard work that you do in your life is also a bliss. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, so if we read the Bhagavad Gita there, we'll come to the astrology part, but going
Yeah.
to the origin of karma and the
Yeah.
summary of all the Upanishads, which is Bhagavad
Yes.
Gita.
Yes.
So, Bhagavad Gita is a very interesting conversation. So, what happens there? Arjuna asks to Krishna that he tells Krishna that, oh, I can't fight, I cannot kill all these big people. One of them is my grandfather, one of them is my guru. I am here because of them. Without
Yes.
them, I'm nobody, basically. That is what he means. And all these crooked cousins which he had, they may be crooked, but they're
Yeah.
cousins after all, this family, So then he tells to Krishna that I can't kill. It's not only that I can't kill, but he says my Gandiva is slipping from my hands.
Yeah.
Darpanya tocho pahata swabhava. He says, and then Krishna says that you should not be concerned with the results. Krishna tells that you should only be concerned with the actions. Now,
Right.
essentially, what Krishna tells him, and the acharyas also explain that Lord Krishna, he wanted to annihilate all the evil forces from the earth,
Yes.
and that is why he had orchestrated this Kurukshetra war.
Absolutely.
And that would anyways happen, even if Arjuna would not fight. That would anyways happen,
Happen.
right?
Yeah.
He would have gotten it done through somebody else, maybe,
Right.
okay? Because he had taken a vow, I won't lift any weapon.
Yeah.
Then what did Arjuna do? Is it like a match fixing? It's like it's like already something is destined, and then what am I doing here?
Yeah.
So then If you read the commentaries of different acharyas regarding this, so the acharyas explain that Arjuna, he has actually he has not fought because he wanted good results. He wanted the throne, or he wanted to win. He wanted to be on the good side, but he did it as a service to Lord Krishna, because Lord Krishna told him, because that was his duty as a Kshatriya, to fight and to punish those who had done wrong.
Yeah.
Because if these people would live, they would create mayhem in the society in the future again.
Yeah.
So therefore, free will is always there with us. Sometimes people say, "Oh, I don't have free will," or maybe I have free will. Of course, there are many ways using astrology, as we will discuss now. You can see what extent the free will is there, but we have to understand one thing very clearly, as you very beautifully pointed out, that if you get a check of 1 crore rupees or 1,000 crores, every person will use it differently.
Yes.
A person who is doing charity work, or who is spreading spiritual knowledge, that person will use it differently. Even for charity, even in the scriptures, it is said in our Vedic scriptures that even if you give one gold coin, because earlier times there was no money,
Yeah.
it was only gold coins.
Yeah.
If you give one gold coin to any random person who
Mm.
does not use it for any bad purposes, you will, in next life, you will get back that same gold coin. You'll
Wow.
get back that one gold coin.
Yeah.
If you give it to somebody who is very desperate and who is very needy, at
Mm.
that moment, somebody comes and asks you, Give me something," and then you give that person. Then what happens? You will get it 10 times more.
Okay.
Now, if somebody is desperate, but because that person wants to serve society,
Yeah.
then that same gold coin, if you donate to that person, then you get 100 times more.
Wow.
So one gold, because your that one gold coin is about to serve 100 people. So you are actually not giving one gold coin. You are giving
Right.
100 gold coins. So that's the measurement, you see.
Yeah.
And it is said, if somebody is giving one gold coin or 1 rupee, one donation to somebody who is, spreading spiritual knowledge at a large scale, then
Yeah.
the scriptures say it will come back to you in unlimited amounts, in
Yeah.
ways and amount that you cannot imagine of,
Yeah.
because you are contributing in something which is much beyond, which is beyond everything. So therefore, when we are about to use our free will, it is very important that we are knowledgeable of the scriptures,
Yeah.
because it has happened so many times that so many people, they have got some donations, or they have got some charity, or they got some lottery sometimes,
Yeah.
and then they are with all this money. Especially, I was reading, like in India, there was this episode, Kaun Banega Crorepati, or
Yes.
something
Yes.
like this.
Yeah.
Or in the West also, there is this, who wants to be a millionaire, or some
Yeah.
contest like this. So I was reading the one article which said, most of these people who got rich overnight, they eventually, most of them have lost their money.
Yes.
Why? Because they were not able to manage it, which means they had used their free will. Now, destiny gave them this beautiful package. Overnight you became a millionaire, for example,
Yeah.
or a crorepati in India, or maybe
Yeah.
sometimes you won 5 crores or 7 crores or 10 crores, maybe.
Yeah.
But then you did not have the necessary discipline in your life.
Yeah.
You did not have that necessary mind control and
Yeah.
that intelligence. Discipline, mind control, and intelligence. These three are very important.
Yes.
So, without these three, we cannot use our free will in a proper way. It is just
Right.
not possible.
Right.
Even if we have all good things, we will put it to the garbage.
Yes.
It will be wasted. It is like saying, okay, once upon a time I had done something, now I'm getting all the fruits. But because I'm not having that discipline now,
Yeah.
that sense control, that level of intelligence and maturity,
Right.
therefore I'm not able to use this. So then what happens? All that is wasted. In
Absolutely.
worst case, the opposite can happen. Imagine you were destined to get a lot of money, or you get money very easily in this life
Yeah.
because of your past life good deeds, and you go and waste it on alcohol. Then what's
Exactly.
happening? That
Yeah.
same good deed is now enforcing
Converted.
all the bad deeds in you. If you
Yes.
did not have money, if you were a beggar, you would not be able to go and buy alcohol,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Why are you able to do it? Because
Yeah.
you had done some good activity. And that is what the scriptures explain, that when somebody does some good activity, why does it happen that the returns are multifold? As I said, sometimes you give a gold coin, you get it 100 times back. Why?
Yeah.
Because the law of karma encourages good karma.
Right.
So you give one, then you get back 100, then you again give, then you get more, then you give again more. So it's like a cycle, you see, never ending cycle. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
I
there,
think like like this is also law of nature. I have one example that one of a very nice sage in Himachal, I got an opportunity to sit with him. He said, Navneet, like if you have one seed of a mango tree, okay, just one seed, that one coin that you're talking about, you put it, and it will give you hundreds of mangoes for hundreds of years,
yes.
right? The only thing is that the intention behind that mango tree is to serve the society, to fulfill the right. So this is law of the nature, and I have personally experienced this. The day I got attached to the plants, to the birds, to the mother nature, to all the creatures around me, right? The day I started feeding them, started connecting to them, the day mother nature started giving it back immensely,
Wow.
right? That very day it started, and there was no looking back. Just like the family, I go out on my backyard, I make sure all my kadamba trees, which my guruji had asked me to put it, right, they are intact. I can tell you the number of leaves that we have. That if one or two goes away, right, I'm concerned that, oh, I mean, there'll be two more coming, right? So
Okay.
if you have that kind of a connection, it's like law of giving, and then mother nature will give you back exponentially. That is so true that you've said. It's extremely beautiful the way you've rephrased it, and I can feel it.
Yes. Yes. And it always happens. So every time I get these questions that, sir, can you please tell me in my horoscope, is it all destined or do I have free will? How do I know and all this? But very rarely have I encountered one person, or maybe never in this life, who has asked me, sir, I don't care if I have free will or not in this life, or how much do I have, how
Wow.
much is destiny, how much is not. But can you please tell me that whatever free will I have, what are the things that I can do in my life? What are the changes that I can bring in myself so that I can use that free will in the best possible way?
I
As
think
this,
this is the question of the century that you said today on this platform.
yeah.
Fantastic.
So as they say, make the best use of a bad bargain.
Very nice, very nice.
So,
Yeah,
so when we are talking of free will here, then
yeah,
it's very important we have the necessary. And I gave these parameters, and by this you can connect astrology here.
yeah,
So, for example, if in your chart you have there are primarily these houses. We have the fifth house,
yeah.
which is the house of knowledge, which
Yes,
is also the house of experience.
yes.
So, for example, many times people do many things, but then if you ask them, okay, so what's the conclusion? At the end, what did you understand? The person will be like, sir, I don't know. करना था कर दिया हमने, बोलना था बोल दिया, लेकिन समझ में नहीं आया. I didn't understand anything, right?
Gee,
So the wisdom that you get, not only religion, spirituality, or modern science,
yeah,
scientific studies,
you
for
know,
anything in life,
yeah,
for anything and everything, that's the fifth house. The wisdom that you finally get,
yes,
that wisdom which you get from your experience, which helps you to make better decisions in the future. That is why fifth house is the house of intelligence.
yes, yes,
And fifth house is also the house of mantra, diksha, and it is also the house of scriptural studies. Okay.
yes,
Why? Why is it the house of scriptural studies? So that you can go to the scriptures. Like, for example, you can go to the Ramayana and you can read about Lord Ram was Maryada Purushottam, the
yes,
perfect among the human beings. Although he was not a human, he is Vishnu himself, God himself, but he acts as if he's a human being to give lessons.
Yes.
So then how did he act? How did his great devotees like Hanuman, Jambavan, Jatayu, how did they act?
Yeah.
What did they do in such a situation? Can I do something similar? Of course, I may not be able to replicate
Yeah.
exactly what they did.
Yeah.
At least in essence, I can try to do what they did. And that is where the fifth house comes in. So if you have planets, if prominent planets in your chart are linked with your fifth house,
Yeah.
then what happens is you have a relate your ability to gain knowledge from the scriptures or even from your life experiences is very good, and that helps you to make better decisions in life. That helps you to use your free will in a proper way.
Right.
Okay, I did this, then I suffered. He
Yeah.
did this, he suffered. She did this, she suffered. Now, if I do this again in future,
Also.
I will also suffer. That's the fifth house, you see.
And you know
Then,
what? One second, I'll forget because this is so beautiful. Babaji, fifth house is 10th from the eighth house,
exactly.
right? Where we got all the scriptures, all the, occult, all the shastras. It's in the eighth house, and you count 10 places from there, you reach the fifth house. That is where
Exactly.
everything is getting manifested, right? And second thing, I remember that, I've read somewhere that you cannot become rishi in Kali Yuga. It's next to impossible, but you can always think like a rishi, right? Which you just said. Like, I mean, you cannot be Hanuman or something, right? But you can
Yes.
think like him. That's it.
Yes.
That the only reaction of thinking like rishis will make you, reach to moksha or close to the moksha at least, right? You'll be out of this vicious circle of free will.
Like, for example, Hanuman, what was his life's first priority and what was his only desire to please Lord Ram, to make him happy? That's all. So in our situation, if we have that, or not even to the extent what he had, that is also not possible. But even if we have a drop or
Yeah,
1% of that desire that he had, then also our life is successful, right? And so we
absolutely.
can do that any way that we feel good. Okay. So, or and what our guru suggests. So, of course, then we come to the ninth house, which is again the house of free will,
Right.
which doesn't mean that if you have a planet in ninth house, you will never suffer or you will only. It
Yeah.
doesn't mean that. It means that whichever planet is linked with the ninth house,
Yeah.
which means it is conjunct the ninth lord or been aspected by the ninth lord, or it is sitting in the ninth house, or it is in the nakshatra of the ninth lord. All these conditions. Then what happens is, suppose there is a scenario in your life, good scenario, bad scenario, average scenario, or
Yeah.
extreme scenario, all the four scenarios. Then you are blessed by God because of your karma and by Sukriti that you have got.
Yeah. Yeah.
That some guide or some guru, not necessarily some spiritual guru, but some guide or some coach or some counselor, some mentor will come and help you in that regard.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, that is why you will always see seventh lord is in the ninth, or ninth lord is in the seventh, or seventh lord and ninth lord are conjunct, depending on the degrees, of course. Then you will see sometimes that these people, whenever they have problems in married life, they are more likely to approach a marriage counselor or somebody like this,
Yeah.
because the ninth house is a very interesting house. The ninth house is the house of God, and God is like, he's so high, you can never cross him.
Yeah.
Because one of the names of Lord Vishnu, he is, Asamurdhva, which
Yeah.
means Asama means there's nobody equal to him, or Urdhva or above him.
Right.
He's
Supreme.
beyond all.
Yes.
So, so ninth house is like the topmost house. Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
then that is the house where you need to go and bow down.
Yes.
It may not be necessarily to some god or some religious entity, but it can be to anybody, to your some senior within your organization or some senior within your same family. It can be
Yeah.
he or she can be. So then that person to whom you're going down, that person also has a fifth house.
Yes.
Now you are bypassing. Now your own fifth house is a combination of your own experiences.
Right.
But that person also has a fifth house. Your ninth house also has a fifth house. So
Yeah.
the fifth house of your ninth house, which is the experience of all your gurus and all your mentors. Imagine you have a mentor or a guru who has stayed 40 years, 50 years, in any sector, in IT or health or spirituality, meditation, whatever it is. Then you have the power to use those uh, those uh, those lessons from his or her fifth house into your life. Wow,
And
how
that
amazing!
becomes the lagna, right? The fifth
Exactly.
house from the ninth is you yourself.
Yeah. Yes.
Wow, this is amazing. I mean, see, anyone who's watching this video, right? If you just watch it twice, you'll understand what how deep he's saying it. He said that the ninth house of your guru has a fifth house, which could be you. That is
Yes.
so beautiful.
So the first house, as it is said, it is Dhimahi, as Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, first chapter, first sloka says, no, Satyam Param Dhimahi. It says about Lord Vishnu. So he is intelligence, and that is what is also Jupiter, and that is why he gets Digbal in the ascendant, which
Yeah,
means you are what's actually the fifth house. If you see from the ninth house, it is
yeah,
actually the fifth house of the Guru, right?
yeah.
So it is the knowledge that your guru has got from his guru. Yes.
Wow. Yeah, yeah. And
What what astrology means.
and probably he's got that knowledge from the 12th house karma because ninth house is 10th from the 12th house,
Correct, 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 correct.
right? So the trine of 4, 8, and 12 is fulfilled. My Guruji used to say, Navneet, the first house is your buddhi, right? The fourth house is your heart, which is shuddhi.
Okay.
Okay. The seventh house is where you multiply and expand, which is vriddhi.
Vriddhi.
Okay, vriddhi. We're multiplying and getting family,
Exactly.
right? And the 10th house is where you achieve things, is the siddhi.
Wow.
Okay, so buddhi, shuddhi, vriddhi, and siddhi is the internal quadrant. One, four,
Excellent.
seven, and 10.
And that is why the scriptures always advise that you should direct your life depending on the instructions of the guru,
Yes.
because the guru actually knows what is good and what is good for you, what is best for you, depending on your experience with the guru after all, and depending on your own spiritual practices.
Right.
And then we have another house, which is the house of free will, which is none other than the 11th house.
Yes.
Why? Because 11th house is the house of fulfillment of desire.
Yes.
So then now your desire is fulfilled. You are happy maybe, or maybe not. But then what you do with this?
I think this is one of the most dangerous houses. The moment I look at a planet without even looking at it is a Mesh Lagna or it is a Vrishab Lagna or it is whatever Lagna, I believe as if the 11th house is the biggest Badaka for anything that you want to do in your life. Even it is a Badaka for your free will also.
Yes. Yes, if the person's mind and senses are not under control, which is very apparent in Kali Yuga especially,
Yes.
if because people are not having spiritual inquiry, then yes, then this same 11th house becomes, as you said, a
Yeah.
badhak, and it poses obstructions, because then what happens is your desires just keep increasing. Okay, I wanted to become a millionaire, now I want to become a billionaire, now I want to
Yeah.
become a trillionaire. But then the question
Right.
is, what do you do after becoming a millionaire? Can you help million people? Now when I say millionaire, I'm not talking in a monetary sense. Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
you might be helping 1 million people. Even then you are a millionaire. You don't have to have 1 million dollars in your bank account for a
That is so
millionaire.
true. Yeah. Yeah.
If you are helping, lakhs of people, then you are a lakpati.
Yeah.
You are helping crores of people, you are a crorepati, of course.
Yeah.
So therefore, 11th house again is this house where everything comes and stops. Our aim is fulfilled depending on which house the 11th lord is, or which planets are in the 11th, depending on the horoscope. And then it is like we have received the fruit of our karma. Of
Yes.
course, our karma in this life, and of course, combined with the destiny. So, for
Yeah.
example, in a class, there are 10 students or 100 students. Each one of them is studying more or less in a similar rhythm, or maybe at least half of the members in the class, they are studying in a similar rhythm.
Yeah.
But then only one becomes fast, right? Only
Yeah.
one gets a position. So
Right.
everybody aspire that yes, my desire is I should be number one in the class.
Yeah.
You don't get it, even if you study the same. Why?
Yes.
Because your efforts, your karma in this life, coupled with your existing destiny. If you are
Yeah.
destined to get some name, fame, some
Right.
recognition, then that will happen. Then what happens is you may study, 10 people may study the same things, but then you may be good in some area, and in the exam those same questions will come, and then you will exceed although you were same in comparison to another guy.
Yes.
So that's what is the 11th house. And then we also have the 10th house. The 10th house is very important because the 10th house is the house where we make the most important decisions.
Yeah.
It is in matters of our career or
Yeah.
anything, really, not
Yeah.
only career.
Yeah. Yeah.
And even in career, if you see people, those who have really succeeded, they have
Yeah.
really made tough decisions in their life.
Yes. Yes.
Many of them, they have cut off their family if required, their friends, their relatives, their colleagues. They have left companies. They have made very tough decisions on themselves.
Yes.
So, therefore, if you have these four houses linked to majority of your planets, to most of your planets, then what it means is that, again, it doesn't mean you have more free will. It means, irrespective of whatever is going on in your life, you have a greater capacity, a
Yeah.
greater probability to
Yeah.
use your free will in a proper way.
Yes.
Because these houses are somehow linked, the trines, the fifth and the ninth, they are linked with your inner knowledge.
Yes.
And the 10th and the 11th, they are linked with the external world.
Yes.
Because everybody is wanting to manifest what is inside in the outside.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
These houses give you an opportunity, okay, that
Yes.
yes, I have achieved what I wanted, but now what is next? Okay, because as I said about the 11th house, if somebody had done a lot of good karma, then they may get a lot of money in this life.
Yes. Yes.
But then if they are wasting it on alcohol, so
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
that 11th house, that free will, that is taking them down. So this, because of this current action in this life, they might suffer in the next life or in
Absolutely.
the next lives or even in this life. The doctor will call you and say, oh, my
Yeah.
dear, madam, you're having liver cirrhosis. So, or maybe any other disease. Why only the liver, of course.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you know that, yes, I got so much, but I wasted it all. So therefore, within astrology, that is why Parasar Muni would say the fifth and the ninth, they are known as Lakshmi Sthan.
Yes.
Why do they say? Now, when people read this, there was one young guy, he had watched my YouTube videos and he read some, oh, fifth and he was very enthusiastic. And I was like, oh, yeah, yeah, maybe you have some prominent planets there, right? He
Yeah.
said, I have my sun in the fifth house, my moon is in the ninth house, my Lord is conjunct the fifth Lord, my Atma Karaka is with the ninth Lord. And he said, so that means I'm going to become a billionaire in this life because it's Dhan Yoga, it's Lakshmi Yoga. And then I was like, oh, really? You might become, who knows? But the thing is, that is not the type of Lakshmi
Me
which
that you're
Parasa.
talking about. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, Parasa Lakshmi Yoga actually, see what is basically Lakshmi ji's trait.
Yeah.
Lakshmi Devi or any Lakshmi Yoga has the ability to sustain you. Sustenance is
Yes.
the word for Lakshmi Yoga.
Yes.
Now,
Yes.
somebody may say, oh, yeah, yeah, exactly, because money sustains us in this world, right? It has to be a yoga related to money.
Yes.
Okay. But Parashara is very clear in this. He doesn't say it is a Dhan Yoga. Okay.
No. Yes.
Dhan Yoga is different.
Yes.
Dhan Yoga is when your
It's
planets are linked with the second,
second
11th.
and the 11th house. Yes.
Yeah. And it is Dhan Yoga. He's very clear. But problem in Kali Yuga is we misinterpret Lakshmi as
Andidhana.
something to do with money or resources, right?
Yes. Yeah.
But then, even if you talk of Lakshmi at a level of sustenance, what kind of sustenance is it if it is not money, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's the sustenance from the fifth house and the ninth house. The ninth house is like the wisdom of the Guru, by
Yes.
which you can sustain in any position that you are.
Yes.
Either you are either you are a beggar in the streets, or you are a multi-billionaire. You can still sustain with the knowledge of the Guru.
Yes.
Why? Because that knowledge tells you that you are anyways not this body. Even if you are a beggar or if you are a very rich person, you are
Yes.
going to very soon leave this body, right? And who knows what you will be in the next life.
Yes. Yes.
So then this knowledge is there with you.
Yes.
This knowledge will help you to sustain, even if you do not have,
Right.
because
Right.
the trait of money is, as they say, it's chanchala, which means
Yeah.
it is there sometimes, it is not there.
Not there sometimes.
Today it's with me, tomorrow it's with him, or maybe it's with your neighbor sometimes.
Absolutely. And you know what? Yeah, with this thing, what I've taken from these 15 last 15 minutes is, Babaji, that probably the real Lakshmi and the sustenance that you're talking about. See, when somebody leaves the body, we do the Kriya Karam. So I think it is the fifth house and the ninth house that goes along with you as a as a Kriya Karam that we do. See, Kriya Karam means that they are sending all the Kriyas and Karmas that you've done along with your soul to the third world. So I think that they're taking the fifth and the ninth house along. So which is the real Lakshmi, right?
Exactly.
That's one. And second one, a very beautiful thing that you've said is that in the 10th house, people have sacrificed so many things. The people who've achieved so many things in their life, right? Now, as per Jyotish, the 10th house is a cremation ground, right? The cremation is the 10th house, 100%, because it is Capricorn, Makar,
Correct.
right? So that is cremation. So, what is the most difficult thing we do in our life with our, near and dear ones is the cremation.
Yes,
That is,
yes.
that is the biggest sacrifice we can do. I lost my father in 2015. I think the most difficult thing that I could ever imagine, for a parent is the 10th house, right? You sacrifice huge. So that is the highest level of sacrifice, right? That you're giving it away. Somebody who is, took you in the hand for so many years and make you walk and speak and eat, and now you're cremating that person.
Yeah.
That's the most difficult thing. And the similar sacrifices like Srila Prabhupada, he left and he got so many cardiac arrests during going to the New York. Only thing that sustained him was the ninth house because he was following the gurus. You know,
Yes.
that's it. And this is so beautiful. And the sacrifice is coming from the 10th house. The ninth house, the actual Lakshmi is coming. The actual Lakshmi is coming. It's so beautiful.
In the ninth house, as they say, it's higher octave of the fifth house, which is it's fifth from
Yes.
the fifth.
Yeah.
So that is like the pinnacle of all Lakshmis, because that, that is such a wealth that you have, which is timeless. Because
Yes.
in this lifetime, you have a lot of money, but then when you die, in next life, if you are born as a cockroach in your own same house, then your grandson or granddaughter can come and trample on you, and then you're no
Absolutely.
more.
Yes.
The knowledge of the ninth house, the wisdom, the spiritual maturity,
Yes. Yes.
that continues life after life. That is like an eternal investment. Can you believe it?
Yes.
Like
Yes.
a timeless investment.
Right.
Any spiritual activity that you do will always stay with you.
Yes.
What kind of an investment that is? That even this body and the mind, even if you go to some other planetary systems, other lokas, it will
Yeah.
still be there with you.
Absolutely.
We have so many examples of great personalities in the scriptures. I'll just end
Yeah.
one example. Like we have the example of the great sage Narad Muni, who is the guru of most of the great personalities mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam.
Yeah.
So he, in his past life, he had served the Bhakti Vedantas, like great spiritual elevated personalities in his past life.
Yeah.
And then, later on, he that life just dissolved. And then, in next life, he was born as Narad Muni. The Bhagavatam explains Narad Muni's body is completely spiritual. It is made of Satchit Ananda, fully
Yeah.
spiritual, 100%. There
True.
is no material element involved in it.
Yes. Yes.
So why did this happen? Because that person had done some great spiritual seva in his past life to some great personalities, as Rishabh Dev says in fifth canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam,
Yeah.
Mahat Sevanam Ahur Vimukteshu.
Yeah.
That the service to the great personalities opens the doors to liberation.
Yes.
You don't have to go and knock; the doors to liberation will open automatically. They will come
Absolutely.
and invite you, right?
Yes. Yes.
So therefore, that is the timeless Lakshmi. That's like the even if you take Lakshmi in matter of money or sustenance or investing, it's like an investment which is timeless, which has nothing to do with this life or next, your previous lives or your next lives.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with all any lifetime
Yeah.
or all the lifetimes combined. It will always stay there with you.
Yes.
It will always go with you wherever you are.
Yeah.
That is the only thing which goes because
Yeah.
Krishna says in the Gita that I am there in everybody's heart as the Paramatma.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Ishvara Sarva Bhutanam Hrideshe Arjuna Tishtati.
Yes.
I am situated in the region of the heart.
Yes.
And whenever we are going to from this body to some other body, to some other loka, other world, whichever tradition you are following or whatever you believe, God is the only
Always
person
there.
who is living with us in this world and who is also leaving with us.
Yes. Yes.
He lives and leaves.
Leaves. Yes. 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 So
In
beautiful.
this world also, you will see sometimes people will live with you, but may
They
also,
won't leave with
uh,
you.
yeah, they may sometimes
Yes.
go
Yes.
even in this life. And when you leave, they may live here and they may
Yes.
not go with you. But
Yes.
what Krishna says, I stay with you when you are here, and when you go, I also go with you. So I live with you and I live with you.
Yes.
Wow, amazing
That's
this is.
beautiful.
That is something which you will not find anywhere. In no house, no planet, nothing. You will just find it in the ninth house. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
So I guess this was like
Yeah.
introduction, and
Yeah.
yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's already 45
Yeah,
minutes.
yeah, yeah. And then
Yeah.
one last thing, Babajit, I have one thing, sir, is that you know why Raja Ram wanted to take the Kark Lagna? You know, the Raja Ram wanted to take Kark Lagna because the 10th house from the Kark is the first house of the Kalpurush, the aging.
Okay.
You,
Okay.
you understand? So he
Yes.
took the fourth
Yes.
house that he'll do the karma, right? He'll just
Yes.
showcase, he'll have one wife, he'll have all dharma, whatever Raja Ram wanted to say. And he said that my 10th house will be the Mesha, right? And when Kal Purush Kundli would be made, the Mesha would be the first house, which is you. That is how
Okay.
you should live your
Excellent.
life, right? So
Excellent.
that was his intention behind taking birth in the Karka.
Excellent. In
So
fact, sometimes somebody had asked me, Lord Ram is Surya Vanshi, he have had, some Leo Lagna or something, maybe Sun
yes,
in Leo or something, but we don't find that much, Yeah, very interesting.
yeah,
And yeah, it was a great time
yeah,
talking to you, and thank you very much for
yeah.
sharing all the beautiful
Thank you.
points.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. It's such a delight to have you. And, you know, I feel blessed with such an enlightened soul you are, sir. Right? And we have many more to come. And if you really like this video, please subscribe to channel and like the video, comment, because sir has said that, you know, we need your feedbacks and comments so that we can come up with the next video with the charts. All right. So till then, Hare Krishna. Thank you very, very much, sir.